Hi everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful day. We are officially done with the first half of the year, which is so crazy to me. And in this video, I will be showing you, of course, all of my spreads from June, but also I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm thinking for 2024 in terms of planners, which I know I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but there's so much chatter around it and it's a very exciting time. So I will save that to the end of the video. But for now, let's quickly, actually not very quickly, but let's go over all of my spreads from June. Oh, actually, I'm first going to show you my art journal. I've shown this before. I did all of these sketches in May, and then in June I decided to try some markers in this sketchbook and they were working beautifully. So I made this like kind of rainbow gradient doodle of just like random stuff. So just like random pink stuff, orange, yellow, and green. And then I actually turned this into a bean card that will be going out with orders maybe in a few months. I don't know. I will put an image on the screen, but this was the inspiration behind that. And then this is a sketch of my mom. I actually took this photo last year when she was working on her garden, and she once again restarted her garden this year after the winter, of course, and it is thriving. We get fresh cucumbers basically every single evening, and it is the best thing ever. So yeah, I really like this sketch. Obviously it's like really messy, but I did this pretty quickly. And then this was actually from my previous video where I filmed myself filling out the sketchbook. So we have this avocado toast, this sketch of myself, and then also a throwback to the distillery district back in Toronto. And then this is just like a really random thing. This relates actually to the July freebie, which I will also put on the screen. As you can see, like my art kind of is connected to whatever I release in the shop. So yeah, I thought this was kind of funny. Anyways, that is all I did in June for my art journal. This will probably take me like 5 years to finish at the rate that I'm going. Okay, next up, this is my tiny bullet journal, which I think I'm gonna make it a goal to finish this in July because I'm on page 105 and there's like 15 pages left, so we will see. And yes, I do have a replacement notebook on the way, and I think I will be doing a stationery haul within the next month or so, which I'm very excited about. So that is something to look forward to. If you watched my May planner update, you would have seen that I made this spread for sardines, which sounds weird with no context, but this is my sardine spread. And then I accidentally skipped this like spread and jumped onto this page. So then I went back and I created this June monthly spread. And I actually really enjoyed using this, and I do plan on doing this again for July. I used some deco stickers and I basically just color coded 2 things. One is for work and one is for personal. And I actually made sure to put the color code of the Tombow markers here just because I have 2. Okay, I know this is like completely off topic, but I have very hairy arms for a girl, as you can see. And I used to shave my arms all the time, but I just can't be bothered anymore. So I'm not going to apologize, but I do want to point out that it is an insecurity. Anyways, I do have these 2 greens that are very similar. You can tell by the cap, and I can never remember which is which. So since I was using 177 to mark personal stuff for this month, I just made sure to write down the number so that I don't accidentally use 249 instead, because it will bug me if the shades are slightly off. So yeah, I just very simply mapped out my month, and I really enjoyed this. I think it was a good way to get an overview. Here is a few entries in June as well. I went to a fresh street market to get some goodies, and I really like the lettering that I did here. And then I made my perfected yogurt bowl, which I have since changed, so this actually wasn't perfected. And then these are just some random spreads in June, which I kind of didn't finish. So there's that. And then I just like skipped a few days, and we have Friday and Saturday. I've mentioned this a few times, but this bullet journal is mostly for enjoyment, so you can see that there's like very little consistency on how I do my layouts and stuff, and I often skip several days at a time. But yeah, this was like a vertical layout. I was very excited because I got a bunch of jars from the dollar store to put in some pantry goodies, so I spent this day like reorganizing my pantry. And then I really like these as well. So for Sunday and Monday, I didn't do any like lists, of course. I just basically made doodles for the main things that happened on that day. So let's see. Sunday I baked cookies. I had a doctor's checkup. Yeah, so in the month of June, I'm finally taking my health like actually seriously, and I've been going to professionals. I'm not too comfortable currently sharing like exactly what I'm going through, but I unfortunately have some physical consequences now of stress from the past few years, so I'm finally getting it checked out. So you might see like a few health related things. Anyways, some work. I ran in the forest. I went grocery shopping, and my mom made a dinner for my sister and I. And then on Monday, my dad came home, so that was really exciting. And then I started watching Black Mirror season 6, which I finished. And I will say it's probably not my favorite season, but I did enjoy select episodes. Whoops. And then I once again skipped a few days to the 21st. And I really like these like ice cream cone headers that I released for the summer release. On Wednesday, I had a bunch of phone calls. I think like many people do not like phone calls, and I tend to put them off. And on this day, I was like, I want to get through all of them. So I called Bob, who is a handyman, a medical clinic, Life Labs, and then a medical scan center. And then I had to call Bob a second time. And again, like a lot of medical stuff because I'm dealing with stuff. And then on Thursday, I had to call another medical center, which is awesome. A few checklist items. On Friday, I got my blood work done. And then here I had a lot of blank space, so I just made like the most random doodles ever. There is no theme, literally just like whatever popped into my head that I felt like was suitable for the space. I just put it down. I really like these 3 fish. Moving on, I posted this on Instagram, but it is like a list of things I have been putting off, but I know I need to eventually do them. I actually did finish a few more things, so I should check that off. Seems like my dad's opening the garage. Okay, one of the alarms in our neighborhood ran for like 5 minutes straight, so I don't even know what I was talking about. But yeah, anyways, this is my list of things, and I should probably get through more of them this weekend. I really like this blobby, exasperated emoji. And then I made this tracker for my health, as you can see. And essentially black is like a really bad day, gray is like an okay day, and then anything other than black and gray, like any other color, is like a good day. In terms of medical stuff, not like my mood or anything. And as you can see, I'm doing so well. It's kind of funny that it's literally like a pattern. Like every other day, I have a really bad day. I don't know. I hope that towards the end of this tracker, it'll be more colorful. And I think when I do my final bullet journal flip through, I will show you. I think when I do my final bullet journal flip through, when I finish this book, I will show you this, and hopefully, again, it's more colorful. And then this is my last thing to show for June in this bullet journal. It is just this current week. I started this on Monday, but then I skipped a few days, and then we have Thursday and Friday. And I just made this like a very simple to-do list, although I did create this like little flap thing for new releases just because there were quite a few things or like categories to keep track of. So I have stickers, the subscription overstocks for January and February. And then on this side, I'm not too sure what I want to do yet. Maybe I'll write down a recipe because I have been actually creating some of my own recipes lately, which I will talk about in a bit. So yeah, I think it was a pretty fun month. This is definitely my favorite section of June. Whoops. Okay. Moving on to my Hobonichi Weeks. I unfortunately stained my cover with chocolate. So I think next year I will need to get like, okay, if I do decide to go with the Hobonichi Weeks as well, I definitely do want some sort of clear cover like I have with my Hobonichi Cousin. Anyways, let's show my activities tracker. I am very proud that I have been, again, very consistent with both my workouts, but also actually filling out a tracker. I have a lot of trouble keeping up with trackers. So this is like one of the few that I have been having a lot of fun keeping track of, and it's actually motivating me. So, all right, that alarm ran for another like 5 minutes. I'm of course not having the best day filming. But yeah, anyways, I do hope I can keep up with this and proudly show you a spread full of dots at the end of the year. All right. So with my Hobonichi Weeks, again, this is my personal planner. So a lot of it is empty just because especially like during busier times where I'm more preoccupied with work, I don't have much time to do personal things, so consequently I don't have many personal things to write down. But this was the first week of June, and I started this thing I think the week before where basically every Friday I make it a self-care Friday. I kept up with that for like 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm actually filming this on a Friday, and I definitely have not been having a self-care Friday. But hopefully after our office move, I can continue with that because it actually is something to look forward to. So I did enjoy the 2 to 3 weeks where I implemented that. But anyways, for the past few weeks, I was using my fountain pen, but then I went back to using my gel pen because I do think I like the look of gel pens a little bit more on the Hobonichi paper. But I am using my fountain pens a lot more for studying and taking notes and also doing my book journaling. So I haven't stopped using my fountain pens for sure. And I think you'll see that in my midnight journaling episode that is coming this Sunday. But yeah, anyways, I also started doing this thing where I wrote down a week in review and just wrote down some key things that happened during the week. This was kind of a messy week. I tracked my spending here, and I accidentally used a turquoise gel pen. I didn't realize that one of my pens had a turquoise ink refill, and I just grabbed it, and we just have this like random section of blue. And then I guess I went back to using fountain pens here, but again, I don't know, it's not my favorite look. For some reason, I just like changed my mind. And then I got this like habit tracker idea from Instagram. With habit tracking, again, I'm terrible at it. I tend to fall off like towards the weekend with tracking, and then I don't want to go back and track because I don't know, I just don't really see the point in it. So it's always like semi-empty, but there's that. And then this is this current week. We are again on a Friday, and I decided to ditch the whole tracking my meals thing, which I have been doing I think since the very beginning. As you can see, always just like writing down my main meals, but I stopped doing it this week just because I felt like I was basically eating the same thing every single day, and if I do eat something different, I kind of want to highlight it maybe through like a doodle or something, so I didn't feel like the meal tracker was too useful for me. So instead I took up the entire note page and I'm just doing like a general week in review, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I will probably make a few more entries on the weekend, but yeah, this is everything for my Hobonichi Weeks, and I'm sure like as the weeks go by I will make a lot more adjustments as I change my preference. So there is that. All right, then we have my Hobonichi Cousin. This is getting really chunky, and you can see the pages that I haven't used in the back. This is my year at a glance. I am continuing this like doodle thing, and I think this is so satisfying to look at. And I made this doodle of the office because we are actually getting ready to move into the office, I think this weekend, maybe next week. With moving, you never know. Things always go wrong and get delayed. So here is my June monthly spread. I did a full plan with me video on this, but I think I did update a few things as June went by. So this is what it looks like, and I really like this yellow, brown, and green combo. Just love these colors. Okay, then we have the weekly section. I think I showed the first half of this at the end of my May video, and this was the first few days of June. And again, it was like a, whatchamacallit, like using random kit leftovers video. So it kind of does look a little bit chaotic with all of the different colors, but I honestly really like this. I guess I was feeling very down on this day for some reason. This was the second week. Unfortunately, this was the week that my grandmother passed away, and I was pretty upset about that. And then here I was trying a new way of marking in work, where I was basically like, instead of making the like headers and then using arrows, I just basically made bars like this. And I did enjoy this, but it was too much effort to grab a ruler to make all of these super perfect rectangles every time. So I didn't continue doing this. Anyways, this was the second week. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm starting to get a little bit anxious for some reason. I think with the alarms and all of that and so many notifications. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from filming just to calm down. Okay, I'm back and a lot calmer now. I'm so sorry for all of the interruptions. This was the third week of June, and I implemented a similar thing with the bars, but instead of taking the time to draw these like perfect looking bars, I just used my Tombow dual brush pens to highlight the hours, and this was a lot quicker to do. So I did quite enjoy this. And then I continued this on to the next week, and this week was really off. You can kind of see there's like a lot of empty space, and I also like kept alternating where I was writing the work. So sometimes I would write it up top, and then sometimes I would write it at the bottom, and this was really starting to bug me. So not my favorite spread so far, and I really do like this slump doodle though. I think that's kind of funny. I also skipped on doing a work tracker just because, again, this was like a really off week, but I might go back and fill it in because it's like the one thing that I keep consistent. So I definitely don't want this to be like a random empty week. And then this is this current week. I'm using this like washi tape that is super cool. It's a bunch of watercolor geometric shapes, and actually one of my customers from Etsy sent this to me, and I think it is so beautiful. And I just ripped up little pieces and put it everywhere. And again, we are on Friday, so I don't have the spread finished, but so far I'm really liking the look of this week. And here I wrote, it's going to be a busy week. Today we are mainly packing. On the weekend, we're going to do most of the move, hopefully. As for marking and work for this week, as you can see, I'm like experimenting a lot. I decided to just draw these like lines with little bullet points at the end, and I think I might continue this onto next week because I really enjoyed this notation style, especially because like when things overlap, for example, I had work on this day, but my sister and my brother-in-law just like stopped by for, you know, a little while. I was still like working, but then also like chatting with them, and I didn't really know how to mark that, so instead I just kind of offsetted this line. I did it a few times during the spread, and I think it's actually like really functional, so I did quite enjoy this. So we will probably do that next week as well. And that is basically it for all of my weekly spreads, and now we will move on to the daily spreads. So in the month of June, I kind of started off with a habit, or like a poor habit, of forgetting to check things off. That is because I had a digital notepad of things that I had to do, and I was mostly checking stuff off on there, so that is why. But then towards the end of the month, I went back to checking things off. This was day 1. It was a heavy design day, and I got an iced coffee, or like an iced Americano, and I did a little swatch of this like washi tape, which I think I hauled in my May planner update. And then this was my self-care Friday that I was talking about earlier. It was like a self-care Friday, but it was only for 2 hours. I just went to a local cafe and I got this like cinnamon swirl scone. I got some work done and also an iced Americano. And I guess I received a new product, which I was really excited about, but honestly, like, I don't remember what I received. It's probably something for the birthday sale. And then moving on to the 3rd, we had new releases on this day, I think. I went on a 10K run. Oh yeah, the new releases were for like these Hot Mess Express and Struggle Bus stickers, which I love. All right, then on Sunday, my sister and I went to Blend's Coffee just for like a little sister chat, and she got an iced caramel macchiato, and I got my usual iced Americano, but it was like a different place, and it tasted really burnt, which is why I drew this like kind of distressed face on the coffee. And then I think I was having a few rough days. That's why I was using the Struggle Bus sticker, and I wasn't making like too many colorful doodles that I normally do. On this day, we had family time. My sister and my brother-in-law stopped over and we got sushi, did a lot of chat, and we went on a walk. And then again, on Wednesday, my grandmother passed away, and it was quite upsetting because my dad went back to China to take care of her, and then after she stabilized, he actually came back to Canada for a very brief period, and then she suddenly became unstable again, and then so he flew back, but unfortunately she passed away. I think it was like a mere 4 hours or something before he was able to see her. So it was just so unfortunate. I couldn't believe our luck. But yeah, he was able to stay for the funeral service and all of that. So yeah, anyways, moving on to Thursday. This was a more colorful day. I think I realized that the past few days were just like very bland, and I intentionally wanted to add some colors to my spread. So I used one of the washi strip stickers from the monthly kits, and then on this day I found a recipe from Pickup Limes that I wanted to try. I think I tried it on Friday, but I wrote the recipe on Thursday, and it was for a no sugar added vegan gluten-free date brownies, and it sounds like super healthy and like one of those gross recipes, but honestly it was the best brownies I've ever tried. It was so good, and in fact I made it 3 times since then. So yeah, I baked that on Friday, and I think I baked it again yeah, on Sunday. So anyways, on Saturday, I finished reading The Lightkeeper's Daughter, and there was like a huge plot twist. So I made this doodle, which I thought was kind of funny. And it randomly started raining on this day after like a series of super hot and sunny days. So I drew this cute little cloud. And then on Sunday, my sister came over, and I was doodling some ideas for smoothie emojis, and I was gonna make green juice emojis, but I felt like it was a little bit redundant, so I just kind of combined them. And then again, I baked another batch of the brownies, actually 2 batches on this day, because it was so good. However, I did mess up the lettering a little bit, which is why I wrote WTF. Okay, and then obviously it was a new week, and I was trying to... Oh, right. So we had our June washi pre-order, and I wanted to draft an idea for the newsletter that I was sending out. So this was like the outline. We have the banner, the images, some text, all of that. And my goal was to send it on Thursday. On Tuesday, I took a rest day from the gym, and instead I went on a long walk with my headphones in. So that was quite lovely. On Wednesday, I kind of made it like a dragon fruit theme, and I've been doing this thing where I write down like the first 3 things that I want to get done. Typically it's like a workout and then maybe getting ready or like emails or something, but I don't know, I just like having this consistency. So you can see I've been doing that a lot. On Friday, one of my customers named Lisa, she flew in from Los Angeles, and we had brunch at this cafe. I've talked about it several times already, I think in my art journaling video. And so I made a doodle here, and it was a 5 out of 5. And also we got in a new stamp, so I was testing that. And then on Saturday, this was the beginning of the washi stamp and pouch pre-order, which was super exciting. So I just printed out one of the preview images, and I stuck it onto the page because I thought it was quite memorable. So there is that. And then here I wrote down another recipe that I wanted to try the next day, and it was for... Oh, it was also from Pickup Limes, and it was a vegan, gluten-free, no sugar added cookies, and it was so good as well. And I've made it again since this batch because it was so good. I got a lot more done than what I wrote down on these few days, but especially if it's like a day where, for example, my sister's coming over and I'm just hanging out with her, I tend to do things here and there sporadically, and I don't bother making like a full to-do list because, you know, like whatever I get done, that's great. But if I don't get something done because I was hanging out with my sister, like I don't really care. So that's why this is like more empty. But I did make kind of like a recap of the day. And then on Monday, I started like a green sort of theme. So I drew some pears. And one other thing is, instead of separating my to-do list by work and personal things, I have been trying to separate it out by morning, afternoon / night. I can't decide which one I like better, so I think I'm going to continue trying out the morning / afternoon sort of thing. On Tuesday, continuing the green theme, I doodled a turtle. And then we had the book club meeting, and our current book that we're reading is called The Spoon Stealer. On Wednesday, I went with like a fruit theme. I used the large summer fruit doodle sticker sheet, and I wrote "You are one in a melon." I didn't really have like a theme, but I just doodled a bunch of leaves and stuff. And then I made an appointment for an ultrasound, again for health issues. So I do have to wait a little under another month before I get some more detailed answers. Then on Friday, I was watching episode 3 of Black Mirror, Beyond the Sea, and I thought this episode was excellent. So I made a dedicated doodle for that. On Saturday, I went to Walmart. I don't go to Walmart often, so I just felt like I needed to make a doodle of that. I bought hangers for my sister, a new powder brush, and some canned tuna. Very random assortment. And then I posted about this on Instagram, but basically I had hand cream on my hands and I accidentally smudged it, and it created these like weird blobs. You can see like the color's a little darker here as well. So I just outlined the blobs and I made little creature doodles, which I thought was kind of fun. Then I have been meaning to get back into knitting. I get obsessed with like knitting for a good month and then I forget about it for like 6 months. But yeah, I'm in a phase where I'm back with knitting again. So I placed an order with Wool Warehouse, which is like a store in the UK, and I have a project in mind that I want to knit. Okay, almost done. On the 25th, I had an idea for a graphic, so I was just making a preliminary sketch, and then my mom cooked so many dishes on this day. So yeah, I felt like I had to just highlight everything that she cooked because it was so good. And then here I wrote, ready for a new week. And I was using blue because I doodled the Walmart logo. This was super exciting because we donated over $7,000 to a community, which we raised through the washi pre-order, and I was so happy about that. And then on this day, I was taking a walk and I had this sudden idea for matcha and pistachio protein bars. So I just quickly wrote down the recipe idea that I had in my mind, and I plan on making it this Sunday. So I will keep you updated on how that goes. On Tuesday, I revealed the new bean samplers that are going out with orders now, orders that have like bean cards filled out. And these were like my top 4 favorites. They are so cute this time around, and I plan on doing some sort of challenge where I dedicate each spread to a single theme. Like having a spread just for strawberries, having a spread just for flamingos, etc. I think that'll be super fun. On Wednesday, I wrote practice being kind to myself because I think I was having a rough few days once again. Actually, I can just check this tracker. 24th, 25th, 26th, 20th. Yeah, so on the 27th, the day before, I was having a really bad day health-wise. So the next day I wanted to be a little bit kinder to myself. So I baked like a first version of the protein bar that I was talking about, but I just made it with chocolate instead of matcha and pistachios. And it turned out so good. In fact, we already finished it. But there were a few changes that I wanted to make, so I wrote down the notes here. And again, once I perfect the recipe, I will definitely let you guys know. And then on Thursday, which was yesterday, we had new releases, which was super exciting. And I made a recap of the day. I was once again having a not so great day. So I wrote down 3 things that I was looking forward to and 3 just like happy things. And ooh, super exciting. Shopify sent me this like giant steel, I think it's steel, statue of their logo. Apparently to celebrate that in 2021 we reached 100,000 orders. So they sent it like 2 years late, which I'm not complaining. I'm just not too sure why they sent it to me now. But this was so exciting. And I obviously owe everything to you guys because it's a direct result of all of your orders and support. So yeah, that was a very unexpected surprise yesterday, which did make me happy. So yeah. And then this is today. As you can see, it is the beginning of our move and things are a little bit chaotic. And with that being said, those are all of my spreads for June. And I'm getting a little bit tired, so I'm not going to talk too long, but I do want to quickly ramble on about my 2024 plans, which is not like solidified because 6 months in advance is a little bit too much for me. I think the number one question that I've been getting recently is whether I will be sticking with the Hobonichi Cousin, because I've been using it for the past 3 years. And these are, again, my very tentative plans because we're only just like on the brink of the second half of the year. So in my mind, yes, I will be getting another Hobonichi Cousin for 2024. However, I will be using it a lot differently from how I use it now. I don't plan on getting another Hobonichi Weeks, to be honest. However, I do plan on getting the A6 Hobonichi. So it's like around this big. And I plan on using the A6 in conjunction with the Hobonichi Cousin. And again, the way I use my Hobonichi Cousin, I plan on it being a lot different from how I have been using it for the past few years and this year as well. And as mentioned, I will be continuing this bullet journal. I talked about it earlier, but I have a replacement coming, and I will show you that when I do get it. It's a different cover color. I do have one other planner, which is from the Take a Note brand or Take Note brand, that I do want to try. And I think that is the one other planner that I will get. So 2 Hobonichis, 1 Leuchtturm bullet journal, and then 1 Take a Note planner. So that is my very tentative plan. And of course, like I have like all of my other journals and notebooks, like for example my art journal, and I will be continuing my language journal and also my reading journal. All of that's not going to change. But as for like dated planners, that is my plan. But again, I will update you likely around the fall time when I have it more solidified, and I'm very, very excited. So yeah, again, I do apologize. I think this video is a little bit of a mess because there were so many interruptions and I started getting a little bit anxious, but I do hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on Sunday for a midnight journaling episode. Bye, everyone.